I love the fact that the prayers of the Psalms aren't these pristine, well-organized, theological prayers. God welcomes us to be utterly honest in the Psalms. Well, the Psalms that we're looking at this year as the content of our gospel one chapter at a time, the Psalms are also the Old Testament's prayer manual. The Psalms are this extensive record of the prayers of God's people. And in that way, they sit as a wonderful example of what it looks like to pray. They sit there in the middle of the Old Testament as a welcome to pray to the one who has the power and willingness to answer. We should never take prayer for granted. Every time you pray, you are experiencing a personal miracle of divine grace, that the one who created everything, who rules everything, who sits in authority on the throne of the universe, is willing to hear us, is willing to listen to us, is so kind and tender that He welcomes us to bring our struggles to Him. I love the fact that the prayers of the Psalms aren't these pristine, well-organized, theological prayers as if you don't get your theology right in your prayer, God won't listen. The prayers of the Psalms are kind of chaotic and personal. We have Psalms of praise and anguish and question and doubt. One thing that's very clear in the Psalms is God welcomes us to be utterly honest in the Psalms. We don't have to hide our experience from Him. We don't have to hide our doubts from Him. We don't have to hide our wonderment and our question from Him and our anguish from Him. In other words, you don't have to clean yourself up to come in prayer to God. The Psalms teaches us we can come to God in prayer exactly as you are. And I don't know if you thought about this. When you pray the Psalms, you're actually praying the Psalms, the songs, the prayers of Jesus. A good example of that is a very familiar hymn or song, prayer in the Psalms. This is Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. Those words, my God, why have you forsaken me, were prayed by Jesus on the cross. In that moment where God turned His back on His Son, God took every ounce of our rejection so we would never again see the back of God's head. Here are the words of Jesus on the cross, recorded for us centuries before the birth of Jesus. I love the whole picture of the prayers in the Psalms, that here we are, broken, confused, distressed, suffering, doubtful people. But we don't have to live in guilt. We don't have to hide in shame. We don't have to act in front of our Heavenly Father as if we're something that we're not. The Psalms is a welcome to be completely, personally honest before God. God is powerful enough and loving enough to handle your doubt, to handle your fear, to handle your guilt, to handle your suffering. to handle your wonderment about where He is and what He is doing. And He says, you come to me, and I will hear, and I will answer. Well, I would say to you, pray the Psalms.